GOP candidate accuses opponent of wanting transgender indoctrination in kindergarten. Another popular talking point that is complete BS. Why is this being said? Where is this?
Okay, so first of all, I want to let everyone know that no, this episode of Transistance is not the Groundhog Day episode of Transistance. You're going to hear something that sounds like the same story multiple times tonight. That was on purpose. Maryland's Republican governor candidate, Dan Cox, said that the state's kindergarten students are receiving transgender indoctrination. When asked about supporting LGBTQ students in Maryland schools, Cox said, "We know that young people who identify as LGBTQ face a lot of challenges. Do you believe these children are being adequately supported in our public schools? And are public schools doing a good enough job educating the whole body of students about LGBTQ issues?" That's the question he was presented with. Cox responded, "No, we're not doing enough because too many times we exclude the parents from involvement. I fought against a bill that would literally allow 12-year-olds to receive counseling without their parents even knowing. That's wrong. We need to make sure parents are involved. What I will do is ensure that the indoctrination stops. We cannot have transgender indoctrination in kindergarten. I mean, that's preposterous. That's exactly what my opponent supports. It's on his website. I will stand against that and eradicate that from the curriculum and get back to world-class learning." And then Cox was asked to clarify what he meant by indoctrination. The candidate cites Genderqueer, the memoir of Maya Kobabe. And he claimed there are things in that book that I cannot show you on television. It's so disgusting. Basically, again, we want to go back to this point. If they can create the fear that something negative is happening to children and create the image that somehow their innocence is being lost, what is in genderqueer is not disgusting. It is a open and frank discussion of puberty, its biological and physical concerns, and sex and sexuality as an individual develops. Is it appropriate for kindergarten? No. But is it being used in kindergartens? No, it's not.
Well, yeah, that's the part that sort of confused me there. I didn't realize that kindergartners were 12 years old.
Right?
That's the part where I got a little confused when he said you're talking about 12-year-olds and then about kindergartners. And it's like those, I thought those were different things.
Yeah. In some states, I mean, 12-year-old kindergartners in Alabama is not unheard of. So
True. That's why Alabama, Oklahoma, some of these states are very adamant about this stuff because, yeah, they don't. Oh my God, I just love that those times when they make their arguments so transparently false,
yeah.
and yet somehow it still gets by when they mention that 12-year-olds have access to this book. I'm assuming, I'm sort of paraphrasing here, and that he then wants to stop indoctrination for kindergartners. It's like,
Right.
how does that pass the muster for anybody? Those are clearly very different things. 12-year-olds are on the verge or are already going through puberty. So it is the perfect time to be talking about puberty.
Right.
And so it's not indoctrination, it's actual good healthcare policy and good education policy for adolescents.
Right.
And this man, Dan Cox, who should have spent more time in school learning and paying attention to how old kids are in kindergarten and when this is actually being addressed. And furthermore, I would like for him to point out a school that uses Genderqueer, that book, as their sex ed curriculum. He can't do it. That's the answer, because it's not. I'm sure it could be part of, or at least available to students. I think that's the more likely thing. But part of some indoctrination scheme where it's being pushed upon kids as the be all end all of what puberty is, I think that's as flimsy and false as everything else he said.
Mhm.